Hi folks, Vipin here. Today we will talk about Ranbaxy, and the reason we'll do that is because Ranbaxy could get into more problems in the days ahead. Now, like the name says, Ranbaxy, drugs, data and dishonesty. What is it that the company has done in order to get into so much of trouble in the last few years? So, let's look at the headline today which I came across and which actually caught my attention, and this was the headline: Ranbaxy may have to pay a huge fine again. So double face palm certainly deserves a double face palm, and you will see why once I show you the next slide as to what is it that Ranbaxy has actually done. Now, on 9th November 2012, Ranbaxy halted the production and recalled 41 lots of atorvastatin due to glass particles being found in some bottles. Now, for example, what does this tablet actually do? I don't want to read the label again, and because I honestly find it too difficult to pronounce. So this particular tablet which is there, it was formerly owned by Pfizer. Pfizer had the patent on it, and what happened later was the patent which Pfizer actually had, the patent expired, and now Ranbaxy was allowed to sell the generic variant. Now, generic drugs are something like another company has actually made it. Another company has actually invented it, and what you're going to do is manufacture the same drug but with slightly different changes in the drug's formula. Now, you do that because you want to avoid patent violations. You want to make sure that you are safe from a legal point of view, and that's something which you would come across as a generic variant. Now, for example, a generic variant for Crocin is a tablet like Imol. You might have noticed that Imol and Crocin have got the very similar packaging, the bluish colored packaging in both cases. Now, Imol happens to be a generic variant. So this particular tablet which they found apparently contained glass particles. Now, what that actually indicates, firstly, that shows the quality of manufacturing has been inferior, as in the manufacturing location is not really meeting the safety requirements. But wait, it actually gets worse. Now, in 2012, an apparent dosage mistake was reported in which 20 milligram tablets were found in a bottle which actually was supposed to contain 10 milligrams. Now, you might wonder, okay, what's the big deal? An additional 10 milligrams, will it actually make a difference? Now, this particular tablet is used for promoting liver function, especially in bringing down and controlling the cholesterol level. Now, you can imagine the American market, and America as a country is containing some of the fattest people in the world. How high the consumption would be of this particular drug to lower down their cholesterol and possibly cleanse their heart in the process. Now, an extra 10 milligrams, okay, what is the worst thing that could happen? Now, I can tell you this because when you take a drug beyond a particular dosage, your body will not react properly. Now, in 2004, I had an appendectomy, and the pain was unbearable after the surgery. And since no one was home, I decided to take an additional painkiller and hopefully see if I can reduce the pain. I was advised to take one tablet of ibuprofen or Proxy-1, I don't remember. Proxy-1. I was required to take one tablet of Proxy-1, and the next thing that happened was the pain didn't really subside as I expected. It was really bad. And the next thing I decided to do was I had to take an additional tablet in the next few minutes, and then the hallucinations started to come by. Now, I'm a pretty big guy. I currently weigh about 0.1 ton, and being a guy as big as me, I can actually bear that dosage, and the worst thing that could happen to me was hallucinations. Now, I just did one time, I did a bit of an overdose and I started to see hallucinations. If I started to do more and more of this, certainly I would have resulted in some vital organ getting damaged, because I'm taking more than the required dosage of that drug. That is why in every product they mention it very clearly. Consult a physician, check the dosage, and only then actually start consuming the tablet. So here, one more mistake by Ranbaxy. Another one. This is the scary part. In May 2013, the US fined the company $500 million after it was found guilty of misrepresenting clinical generic drug data and selling adulterated drugs to the United States. Oh crap, this is not really something which you can do and get away with. And misrepresenting clinical data, I had to highlight that word because I cannot stress how important this is. Now, from what I've read, it takes at least a decade to launch a new drug. Now, let's say, for example, crocin doesn't exist. Okay, and you're a company which is actually inventing crocin, and you know the potential of crocin. Now, for you to actually make crocin available in the market, you start off in 2014. It could actually be made available latest or earliest rather in 2024. That's 10 years from now. Now, why is it that you need so long to actually make the drug available in the market? Because countless number of clinical trials need to be done. You need to get approval from many authorities. You need to get approvals from the to ensure that the data that you've collected from the test subjects is okay. You need to make sure that the dosage is right, the formula is right, the ingredients that you've used is nothing which can cause some serious damage to the human body. All that is something that will take a great deal of time and, more importantly, a huge amount of money. Pharmaceutical companies invest hundreds of millions of dollars in developing just one drug. Not like a whole family of drugs, just one type of drug, they invest millions. So what some of them could actually do, and in case of Ranbaxy, this is what they did. They had to falsify the data that they collected on the clinical trials which they actually had done for this drug. This is a very serious offense. It's like you manufacture a drug and without doing proper testing, you're making it available in the market. And who knows what could be the side effects after consumption. This is something which Ranbaxy had to plead guilty for. Yes, they admitted that they are wrong and the data which they had published was in fact incorrect. And I'm surprised the fine that was levied on Ranbaxy was just 500 million. I was honestly expecting the founders of Ranbaxy to actually go to jail for something like this, because this is a very serious offense. Now imagine if they had done this for a drug like malaria, for drugs related to malaria or drugs related to, say, cancer, wherein you don't do proper trials, you don't do proper research, and you just say, here, take this, and the problem is actually cured. It's a very serious thing to actually do something like this, and I expect to get away with it. Then, let me remove my face here and I'll read out this. In September 2013, further problems were reported, including apparent human hair in a tablet, oil spots on other tablets, toilet facilities without running water, and failure to instruct employees to wash their hands after using the toilet. Oh, for God's sake. This is what makes me want to do a facepalm, or double facepalm in this case. Are you fucking kidding me? Do you have to instruct employees to wash their hands after using the restroom? What are they, 2 years old? I cannot imagine what's running through this company's policy. Do they have a policy wherein they say employees are allowed to use the restroom, and in brackets they say optional, washing hands is not necessary? Do they require the American government and the American authorities to instruct them to tell their employees to wash their hands? Dude, this is just basic hygiene. Don't tell me that the company never even understood that, okay, we didn't know that the employees were required to wash their hands. We thought that the air itself is a disinfectant, and after you pee or after you take a dump, the air around you will act as a disinfectant and cleanse everything. I can't imagine what Ranbaxy must have put in their hygiene policy. Does the American government even request them to say that, okay, employees are also required to take a shower after research, They must be using disinfectants continuously. What else do they want? Do they have to even go about telling the employees of Ranbaxy once they wake up they're required to brush their teeth as well? This is just ridiculous. When you hear statements like the employees are required to be instructed to wash their hands after using the toilet, that's just sad. And the statement before that, the toilet facilities without running water. Most of you will not believe me if I tell you this, but in India, 53% of the population of India, or probably more, they don't have access to restroom facilities with running water. And that requires people to actually use Mother Nature as their own personal toilet. And Ranbaxy, congratulations, you're now part of that 53% as well. Now, the other one, again, I'll have to unhide my face. Ranbaxy is prohibited from manufacturing FDA-regulated drugs at the Mohali facility until the company complies with the US drug manufacturing requirements. Now, keep that thought in your head. Keep that thought in your head. Let me come down to this. The next thing that I had to ask myself is, when the American government or the American authorities have got so many problems when it comes to the drugs sold by Ranbaxy in their country, how come we've got no problems with Ranbaxy at all? Now, if you read the statement made by the company spokesperson, it's very, very cleverly written, and certainly it happens to be a lawyer who's written this. Just look at that statement. Ranbaxy is compliant with all the requirements under Indian law and maintains that the drugs sold by the company in the Indian market are safe and effective, a company spokesperson said. According to Indian law, this is an indirect way of saying in Indian law we don't have the rules that is mentioned in point number 4 in this slide. In Indian law, apparently, I don't think they mention toilet facilities are required to be present where there is running water in those facilities. Or in Indian law, they've not mentioned that employees are required to wash their hands. That's one of the reasons why I think the company spokesperson is able to make a statement like this. According to the Indian law, the drugs are safe, the drugs are okay, but according to the American law, they're not. Now, that makes me conclude a lot of scary things when it comes to the safety regulations of the drug market in India. And hopefully, Ranbaxy could teach other pharmaceutical companies in India a lesson and make sure that the quality of drugs they manufacture is in fact above par than the international standards, or above par than the American standards at least. That one point when it comes to employees be required to be instructed to wash their hands, that's something which will take a long period of time to go out of my head. I'm guessing that Ranbaxy employees are just 1 or 2 years old, and hence they weren't really informed before that they need to wash their hands after using the restroom. So that's it from me. After I made this presentation, I feel like washing my hands after looking at how filthy this company has actually become. So thank you for your time. Have a nice day, and do subscribe to my videos. Oh wait, I forgot one more important thing. You may have come across Ranbaxy drugs in India. Volini, I think, is the one which they use for the muscle cramp. You might have come across this when a cricket athlete, he does a dive, he ends up with a sprained knee or a sprained ankle. They just spray that and it provides a bit of temporary relief. One more very famous drug of Ranbaxy in India is something which Salman Khan advertises, Revital. Salman Khan and Ranbaxy going together, a company which doesn't follow rules and an actor who doesn't follow. Oh yeah, I can see how they go to, how the two go together. So that's it from me. Thank you for your time. Have a nice day. Bye.